What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my demand. Like and subscribe. So, I wanted to talk about specifically something that happened in the Xbox business presentation, whatever they call it, the podcast. And that is there's a part where Cyberbond said something to the effect that we want to create the most powerful console for creators and gamers and blah, 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 that has ever been in the existence of the human race. Or something like that, something like that, right? The most powerful console. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, they always say that, blah, 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 there is truth to that. But with the leaks that we saw, right? Remember, there was leaks about RISC chips. There was leaks about Xbox maybe going AMD RISC. I mean, not RISC, ARM, which is, I believe it's RISC anyway, RISC processors. But whatever, ARM architecture, which would make it easier to downgrade those games to mobile platforms. And ARM architecture chips are super powerful now because Apple is using ARM in their computers and in their phones, obviously. Their A chips are ARM based, and so they're playing Resident Evil on the iPhone 15 Pro, I think it is. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're already almost there. It's basically, I would say, at least Nintendo Switch level of quality. I actually don't know what it looked like, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is that people are just kind of taking that and saying, whatever, and casting it aside. But if you think about it, and you think about what she may be implying, it's really about how the industry is changing as far as technology, right? So we're seeing a lot of DLSS and all these frame interpolation and frame smoothing and all this, AI upscaling and stuff, right? And Microsoft literally said in one of their, I guess it was a leaked document or whatever, they're saying that they are going to have basically hardware AI, which is NPUs. That's something new that's coming out. Well, I don't know how new it is, but it's something new to, I would say, consumer grade products, whether it's laptops or consoles, definitely. I think Xbox will have the first console with an NPU in it. Now, what's an NPU? A neural processing unit, I believe that's what it's called. Or that's what the acronym is, or the letters stand for. And it's basically an AI CPU, right? So all the tasks that the AI needs to perform, whether it is like frame interpolation or resolution interpolation, whatever it is. I mean, there's even more stuff than just those two basic things that are being handled by DLSS or whatever, FSR, right? On AMD side. And those things are usually taken care of by the GPU, I believe. Or maybe it's shared with the GPU or CPU. Regardless, if you have a dedicated chip, I mean, yes, they're calling it the NPU, and it is an AI-based thing, and that's basically what those functions are. Then you can give some more room, power, whatever you want to call bandwidth, to the GPU and CPU, and your resolution goes up. I mean, the frame rate goes up. Well, I mean, these things go up because of the AI handling that. So, in turn, you can use the power of that GPU to do either more frames, more resolution. You can do that, plus the gains you get from the actual AI functions. So it's when she says something like the most powerful jump, I had to think about it a second. I was like, really? Like, why? And then I thought about the NPU utilization and how they would do it. And I was like, okay. And what I just said, to kind of talking it through, does it make sense? And I said to myself, yes, if they can pull it off. And if they can pull it off in a way that it is not difficult for developers. Because developers are, I'm not going to say they're lazy, but they definitely want an easier solution to the problems that they run into. Whether it's, I want to get this resolution with this frame rate. How do I do this? Click this buttons and drag the slider, you're good to go. I mean, if it's simple and easy across the board in the they say code to the metal, but I would say if the API is such that, you know, you don't have to do that much work when it comes to those things. You don't have to do any tricks, you know, magic tricks and smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. It's just like, boom, you have enough power. You have this AI chip that automatically handles whatever resolution you want to deal. You know, I mean, there are parameters. You have to have a baseline, obviously. That's how these resolution and frame rate enhancers work. Yeah, so I mean, I believe was it the NVIDIA one or I think it was the NVIDIA one. It's the base is 1080p, I believe. So your lowest resolution has to be 1080p in order for it to achieve anything higher, obviously. If it's anything lower than 1080p, then there's issues. Not sure what the issues are, probably artifacting and stuff like that, but whatever. I mean, there's always issues with this technology. Like I said, artifacting, there's ghosting, there's all kind of things, right? But the promise of an AI chip, an NPU in the next Xbox, giving it that superpower, you know, alleviating some of the cycles and some of the work that the GPU and the CPU have to do now, is super interesting. And it also opens up the gate for newer technologies that you wouldn't even think would be, I don't want to say possible, because I don't think we're at a point right now where it's kind of density of graphics and kind of realistic and motion capture. There's a whole bunch of little things that kind of go together that are making games, you know, seem like they're bigger budgeted or whatever. I mean, they are bigger budgeted, but because it takes more time to do those things well, right? But with, like, you see the Unreal demo that Hideo Kojima put out of OD, and you see the actors' faces and stuff, and I was like, that looks like really, really close to really, really real. It almost looks as good as Hellblade. Okay, I'm playing. It looked better than Hellblade, but it was out of context. It was on a white background, and you were super focused on it. I'm sure if you did the same with Hellblade's art assets and motion capture data, it would look basically the same. They're both on the same engine, so I don't see why it wouldn't look any different. Anyway, I know the lighting was different on Hideo Kojima on OD, so but this makes me excited because I think it's about time in the video game industry and the video game timeline, if you will, for some newer technologies to come and to push forward what we are expected of these games as far as graphics, performance, and all these things. Now, I mean, I don't think, 120 hertz, sure, people have monitors and stuff, but the mainstream casual people don't have 120 hertz TVs. They are out there, yes, but it's usually just 60 hertz. So I think the baseline for the next gen console will be 60. There will be some crazy developers out there that want super ultra realistic, and they're gonna go for 30 so they can get that super ultra realistic. But when it comes down to it, I think, there will be exceptions like Bethesda and Starfield and the Creation Engine. It's such a different kind of bespoke engine. I don't think there's any other engines that are quite like the Creation Engine in that it tracks all of the objects in every location that you've been. So you go back to the location, all the stuff is there. All your watermelons are on the floor, all your cheese rolls in the closet or whatever, So I'm like, that's very specific. And so that would take away from, I guess, some cycles, or I guess just holding that data or having to load all those objects when you come to a location. Stuff like that is, I don't know if that is something that can be accommodated for through AI or through advancements in chip design or chiplet design or even circuit board design, that's where I'm like, I know, look, the more chips, the better. If you put 10 NPUs on a thing and you put 79 GPUs, of course it's gonna be, but it's about practicality, it's about money, right? They're not gonna spend all that money to put all those crazy things on there. Yes, it'll perform, but nobody's gonna buy it, so it won't be successful. So there is a balance between the chips, the orientation, not the orientation, I'm sorry, but the design of these chips, ease of use, all these things. And that's one thing I think Sony has, Mark Cerny per se has kind of been always there. He's always been a tech guy forever. When he was working for Sega, he was a super tech guy. So, and that's why I make fun of Mark Cerny, because he kind of presents a little weird, but I give him his props because, you know, he came from Sega. You know, I'm a Sega fanboy. I can't front. So, you know, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'll give him his flowers. I give him his props, and I'm not gonna hate on him totally. But, you know, Mark Cerny has found a way to optimize the hardware that he makes so that it punches above its weight, basically. And he's always done that. He did that for the Genesis. Like the later generation of games on the Genesis were doing some crazy, like, not even mode 7. It was like, I think it was a Mickey Mouse game where everything was kind of coming the character was running towards the screen, so everything was going backwards, and it was like on a roll, and I forgot how they explained it. It's basically like they were drawing the lines of pixels a certain way, and that's what I was like, yo, you know, big brain worked on that, and that's Mark Cerny. So, you know, he definitely gets his flowers, but there are smart people everywhere, and yes, he's found ways to do things. I mean, I think it seems like the PlayStation 5 is more of a shortcut console than an actual reinvigoration or some great hardware breakthrough. Because basically what he did was he got the SSDs, right? And he got the I/O speeds really high, right? Which is cool. I mean, that's what you want. That was one advancement of general technology. Xbox has the same thing, except, you know, the numbers are a little different. And he overclocked everything. And he did that because he realized how less powerful the PlayStation 5 was stock. And he overclocked it, put the liquid cooling in. It's a Band-Aid, basically. That's why that console's so big and ugly. Well, it's ugly because they designed it that way, but it's so big because it needs to cool. It shouldn't be that big. It doesn't have to be that big, but they had to because they're overclocking those chips. Those chips were not meant to do that. You see a bunch of videos of, oh, your PlayStation's overheating, gotta shut it down. We've seen a whole bunch of videos playing Spider-Man. Like, this your flagship game. How am I playing Spider-Man and my console's overheating? How's this? You know? I don't think I've ever seen a Xbox overheating. I mean, I've seen people put their Xboxes on fire and act like it caught on fire or something, you know, oh, just for the drama and stuff. But anyway, mine has never. And I don't even hear it because it's so quiet. Whisper quiet. Anyway. But it felt like the PS5 was a Band-Aid. And are they going to do a PS5 Pro? I think it's a bad idea because they have no games until 2025. Like, imagine a PS5 Pro comes out this fall, 2024. November 2024, a brand new PS5 Pro. You need to launch that with a game. You ain't got no games. You got a bunch of third-party games that don't fully take advantage of the hardware. And so, I guess Call of Duty, that'd be the game that they could pack in again. Or maybe Xbox will throw them a bone. Yeah, you can put it in there. But I mean, we put it in ours too. But, you know, whatever. You got it. But, you know, going back to what Sarabon said, it's exciting because this is the future of video games. The future. You know, like, what is Sony talking about as far as the future of video games? Their future is no games until March 2025. I'm like, huh? Is that like a way to prepare your fans? Like, yeah, don't get your expectations too high because y'all ain't got no games till 2025. Wow, that is, and when Hiroki Totoki came out and he was beating the legs at all the fanboys. He was like, yeah, man, I think our studios know how to make money. I mean, the games are cool, but you ain't making no money. What are we gonna do? How is this? Hiroki Totoki, he's CFO. I think it was the CFO, right? I believe he was the CFO, or is the CFO of Sony. And it's like, when your boss right now, Hiroki Totoki, I like his name. When your boss is dissing you, it's kind of just making you all look like fools. You got nothing. Not even your higher ups are giving you any like support. No support system for y'all. Nope. We ain't no games until 2025. We don't know how to make money. And these things are like rumors or speculation or anything like that from fanboys or Reddit posters. This is from the head of PlayStation right now. And he's dissing y'all. He's doom and glooming y'all. Remember when Jim Ryan said, "Oh, we'll be fine. We'll be more than fine." Nah. And I was listening to Jeff Grubb's Game Messin' or whatever it's called, and they are definitely not fans of Xbox because they were kind of sympathizing with PlayStation. Oh, they'll be all right, or this and that and the third. I'm like, okay, all right, you guys, I mean, first and foremost, they're Nintendo fans, so there you go. But they're definitely leaning more towards Sony and PlayStation because it's a de facto kind of reaction. It's a de facto word. Like Phil and Sarah and Matt, they didn't say PlayStation or Nintendo once in that presentation, but everybody on the internet is saying PlayStation. Games are coming to PlayStation. They didn't say that. They said consoles. Now, of course, consoles is only the Switch and the Amico. I'm just kidding. It's the Switch and the PlayStation, sure. But they didn't like the thing that I find funny is that I think it was Mike Manati. He said, "Oh, the game is coming to PlayStation." He didn't say Nintendo. And I'm like, for me, I would assume that the game like a Hi-Fi Rush would go to Nintendo first because they have a relationship with releasing their games that they have published on Xbox on the Switch. Minecraft, Ori, and the Blind Forest, I believe. I don't know if Will the Wisp probably went there too. I'm not sure. So there's a history of that. So there's nothing new here, And same with PlayStation. You got Minecraft over there. You got Elder Scrolls Online. You got Fallout 76. There's plenty of games on PlayStation from Xbox. So I just think I'm gonna cut it down, cut it short. But you have to look at the words. You have to remember this. And they said it. This message that they were talking about, games everywhere and all that stuff. They've been saying it for years. And all these donkey unicorns and ponies look foolish. And now there needs to be a new category for the traders. The Tim Dogs and I guess Crab Gamer went back again or something. I don't know. Did he flip-flop again? I haven't been paying attention to Crab Gamer. Xbox Curator, I think, was another one of them. I'm just going off the top of my head. I think Tim Dog was the most publicized, the most kind of trending traders. No, I'll figure out a name for them. I don't. Trader is a dumb word. It's not a dumb word, but I don't think it applies to this. It's more about fear, not so much about defecting. And so these scaredy cats. We'll figure out. We'll just call them scaredy cats for now. So the ponies, the donkey unicorns, and the scaredy cats are they're doing whatever they're doing. They're burning their Xbox. They're selling their Xboxes back to GameStop and stuff. For what? I don't know, $150 to get nothing. So dumb. And they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But I mean, look. I was watching Andy Pan's video today, and he's like, "Yo, I got a list of these traders. I got a list of these. I forgot what he called them. But I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, they're dead to me. I hate them. I was like, ouch. He's like, it's a little harsh. But I mean, the sentiment is there. It's like, yo, be an adult. Take your feelings, compartmentalize them over in the side, put them in the cooler for a minute. I was gonna say go outside and touch grass, but go play a game or something. Just unplug for a bit. That's all you had to do and wait. And people got on their feelings. And like I said before, maybe, something's going on in his personal life that he just kind of not conflated, but, he transferred that energy into video games and the video game words and rhetoric. And I'm like, I get it. I see how that can happen. But at the same time, it ain't that serious. Always remember, this is for fun. And some people find people like putting people through stuff, putting people in through like anguish and just stressing people out or whatever. They find that fun sometimes. I mean, it's the masochist in some people. And, you know, sure. I mean, sometimes it's broad. That stuff is like, maybe everybody has that a little bit, but sometimes there are triggers, right? It depends on what it is. And I guess that was a trigger for him, you know? But, you know, I keep seeing people like, oh, you're always cool to me, Jim Dog, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know the guy, so, you know, whatever. I'm going to talk what I'm going to talk. It's just my opinion. It has nothing to, I mean, nobody, I'm not important enough to, I'm not important, period. So I can say whatever I want to say, and nobody's going to care because it's all good, you know. That's my role in all of this. And besides, what people say doesn't matter anyway. Like what I say doesn't actually matter. It's what you enjoy. What do you like to do? How do you like to play your games? You know, what do you like to do after you play games? What do you do to prepare before you play the game? You know, it's all those different things, you know. And that's what you need to do. That's it. You know, you don't have to say, oh, well, somebody comes up, oh, you're playing that wrong. Like, shut up. How about you shut up and let me play how I want to play? How about that? How, you know? It's like what I don't like. That's just a special breed of idiot. I don't know. Well, I don't know what to call it. I don't listen to people generally. I don't listen to myself usually. I just observe and I decide. You know, I observe what's going on, and I decide. And you know, it's I've survived for so long. I've survived for now, but you know, it's like I said, it's not that serious, and we just need to have fun. And like the outlook as far as Xbox goes, it looks promising. It looks healthy. They're growing. They're making more money than ever. I can keep going on. On the other side, you're looking at PlayStation and Hiroki Totoki is like, oh. And I'm like, for one, PlayStation fans are going to hate what is going to happen to their games because they're going to have a bunch of short, not as good games. It's going to be a bunch of Miles Moraleses. Now, I know Miles Morales was basically kind of like, but that was like a 5-hour game, right? 5 or 6 hour game. That's what y'all going to get. If you don't want that high quality, you're getting 5-6 hour games. You want less quality, you might get an 8 to 10 hour game. That's how it works. It's just math. It's not rocket science. It's math. Like, we got to cut our budgets. They're not gonna do. I mean, I think, did they say, well, yeah, Spider-Man 3 might be a $400 million game, but you divide that into 3 parts because they're making 3 games and they're charging $150 for the whole thing. So that's one of their solutions. Like I said before, it's not a bad solution, but is it ideal? I mean, they're kind of looking at it. They're kind of testing the waters right now with Final Fantasy, although they're making full games out of this one game. They're just cutting them in half, cutting them in pieces and just making each piece a full game, which is one way to do it, but they're not saving any money doing that because they're still making a full long ass game. And so I believe that the Spider-Man pieces are not going to be, I mean, I think they'll be average, maybe 10 to 15. I'll give them 15-hour games. I'll say 15 hours for the campaign. Multiplayer, there's no obvious hour on the multiplayer, so it's multiplayer. And then the what was the other one? It was it's 2 parts plus the multiplayer. So maybe each part is 10 hours, or 8 hours. Let's say 6 to 8 hours each part 1, and then 6 to 8 hours part 2, and then multiplayer. That way they can have the budgets not as big or similar. Well, actually that would be a lower budget because of the fact that the game isn't over 20 hours. Let's say it's 18 hours total. That's a good look. But I mean, they didn't do a multiplayer for the first and second game or Miles Morales. So that adds to, I mean, they'll have a separate team for that, obviously, but it still adds to the cost of the total project, all 3 parts. So, I mean, that seems like something that's doable. But anyway, I'm sorry, I rambled on that stuff. I wanted to talk about, it was really about Sarabon and the technology and all that stuff. But the future looks good. Sony looks sus. I don't know what they're gonna do. We'll see. But yeah, I am super optimistic about video games, and not even talking about like what Sega's doing and stuff. That's a whole nother thing. Whatever is gonna happen with them in the future, dude. I'm pretty content with what's going on in video games right now. Yeah, Sony just needs to get their act together, basically. And I mean, all the videos I've been watching, like Andy Pants, and they've been making fun of all these clowns and stuff for jumping the gun as far as the presentation. But it's all good. You guys go watch Andy Pants' latest video; it's pretty funny. Anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out, y'all. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about kind of the hardware comment that Sarah Bond says, Queen Sarah. And do you think that AI is going to be like a super advantage when it comes to how they architect their hardware? Do you think it will become an integral part of consoles going forward? Plus, I mean, everything really, like PCs, laptops, phones. And I know AI is a kind of a iffy subject. People are scared of it because they're ignorant, basically. But it's just a chip that does the function set. They're doing it right now with DLSS and FSR and all that stuff. It's just you can change the name of it or whatever. It's all the same stuff. So, but anyway, I appreciate. And I hope y'all have a good one. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Tilt the way.